I think Hogan gives us all the clues, but none of the answers. And the thing that Hogan, in my opinion,
But there's a
was
value. There's a value, like you were saying, in chasing Ben Hogan's technique because it's a process of self discovery.
correct, correct. But I think Hogan, the major clues that Hogan gave us are the geometry and and the pane of glass, his discussion of the waggle, which I know you get, you're a master of that. Uh, the He doesn't say it, but you can tell even lie angles are somewhat alluded to, and you can see it in his game, and you can go, "Wow, that guy understood how to swing the golf club around his body, but also hit and hit really hard, right?" And once you realize that you're a swinger, you don't have to change, you don't have to be different. But in my opinion, unless you are exceedingly gifted hand-eye coordination and have an incredible amount of time to practice, you're most likely going to end up having issues at the worst possible time because you really can't ever simulate what it feels like to be standing on that tee, needing to hit that fairway or whatever it is. And
Well,
the bolts come loose.
yeah, no, you make an excellent point, and one of those is like the danger of modern golf instruction, which is one size fits all. And I feel like when you learn geometry, biomechanically, you build your own golf swing. And I think
Absolutely.
leverage takes you on a journey of self discovery of your own biomechanics, of your own lie angles, what works for you, how you grip the club, because you and I don't grip the club anything alike anymore. I mean, for a while we did, but I think you went on your side of the journey, which more was more of a George Knudson draw type of swing, and I went for the hardcore fade. So, I got that left thumb, I guess my left hand, left thumb on the left side of the shaft, and really, really open that club face up. Now I know you play a draw with an open club face, but I think your path is more end out like a Knudsen type. And that has a lot to do with your shafts and everything else. But I feel like so much golf instruction is one dimensional nowadays, and I feel like this process is multidimensional and it works for everybody.
Absolutely. And I one of my favorite drills that I show people is I call it, you said George Knudson. I call it my George and Lee Buck. And George is George Knudson. And I'm going to feel like I just sink right in here, whip that club in here, throw it out, and then pound it. And then I go and I'm my Lee Buck. And now I'm going to grip the club a little stronger. I don't mind seeing the club face pointing over there. I'm going to kind of walk in. I'm going to set everything over this way. I'm going to rip it outside and pound. I hit it fat, but you get the idea, right? And then I'm going to pound it. I'm going to rip it out, bring it in wide, narrow. That was solid
Oh, it's
right there.
nice.
That was crispy. So it doesn't matter. It matters on your temperament. It matters on your internal rhythm. Are you a Nikki Price? Boom, right?
Which is
Are
my
you?
kind of my go-to.
That's right. Right. And then of course your shafts need to respond to that, right? And um the thing to me about, you said it before about self-discovery, is, and I've had students say to this to me, is that you gave me permission to think about something. And that kind of brings us to conventions, and it brings us to these thoughts that like there's a way to do this. And there absolutely is. And I don't have any problems with people, you know, working on certain things, and you could just call it sort of the standard PGA model. And they're not wrong. There's nothing that they're saying that's wrong, except the ball flight loss. And so now that we've come to the D plane, and I realize, and this is, I think it should have a touch of cynicism in it, in the sense that you and I were both on this, and I certainly came to the D plane later, and than earlier, and I really wish I had known this when I was 19 years old, and I understood that the reason I kept hitting 30-yard fades off the tee was not because my club face was not square. It was because my path wasn't far enough rightward. And so I would pipe it down the middle and it would just drift. And I'm like, I smoked that thing.
Well, I mean, when we
So,
talk D plane, you got to kind of, I think first you have to understand eye dominance, because if
yeah,
you're not using correct eye dominance, you won't see your plane lines properly. And I
right.
think the modern game completely ignores that. And
Absolutely.
that's something that you have really gone down the rabbit hole on. So you're welcome to share a little bit there before we